I'm begging on my knees. The way to fight is one battle at a time. You may have won today, but I'll see you at the finish line. All is fair in love and war. You pull no brakes when you're riding to the core. All is fair in love and war. You best be aware, 'cause all is fair in love and war. If you can't stand the heat, don't come in the kitchen. Bring you pain is my new addiction. Been the other way around before too long. Now you're gonna find out what it's like to be wrong. Well, all is fair in love and war. You pull no brakes when you're riding to the core. All is fair in love and war. You best be aware, 'cause all is fair in love and war.
What is up, guys? Let's do this, baby! Holy shit, it's starting! Sorry, guys, we're gonna have to skip the intro here. What's up, guys? Chris Hips One. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Live Vibe 221. We're watching the debate right now, guys.
This country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were
We're gonna
elected
jump
4
right
years
into
ago,
it.
and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years
right,
ago?
so
when it comes to the
We're
economy,
gonna be
do you
chilling.
believe Americans
Pack
are
a dip.
better off
What's
than they were
everyone
4
dipping
years
on,
ago?
baby?
So I
We're gonna watch this
was
live.
raised as a middle-class kid. And I am actually the only person on this
this is
stage
gonna
who
be
has a
good.
plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more
you doubled the price of dip in the last 4 years.
Because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after
75 years, pay us
back for all that we've done for the world. and
Cougar.
the tariff will be
Outlaw.
substantial in some cases. I took in
Snooze.
billions and billions of dollars, as you
Candidates.
know, from China. In fact,
Siberia.
they never took the tariff off because
Give
there
me
was
some
so
rules.
much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs,
What's
and
up,
yet I had
Elena?
no inflation. Look, we've had
Hey,
a
Ninja.
terrible economy because inflation has, which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster
Why are you
for
shaking
people,
your
for the middle
fucking
class,
head,
but
you
for every
stupid
class.
bitch,
On top of
dude.
that, we have
Seriously, bro.
millions of
I am-
people pouring
I-
into our country from
I'm angry.
prisons and jails,
I
from
am
mental
angry.
institutions and insane asylums.
She wasn't
and they're
even
coming
elected
in and
into.
they're taking
It's a fake
jobs that
administration,
are
dude.
occupied right now by African Americans and
Doesn't
Hispanics,
admit
and also
that Biden
unions.
was in
Unions
the
are going to be
decline the
affected
whole
very
presidency.
soon. And you see what's
On
happening.
first
You see what's
day,
happening with
when I'm
towns throughout
elected,
the United States. You look
I'm
at
gonna lower
Springfield,
inflation
Ohio.
costs. Like,
you
what
look
the
at
fuck?
Aurora
You've been fighting
in
BP for the
Colorado.
last 3.5
They are
years, bro.
taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings.
gonna
They're going
change.
in violently. These are the people
What's up, Big
that
Grizzly?
she and Biden
If you
led
guys are
into our
vibing,
country.
hit that like
and they're
button.
destroying our country.
You guys got
they're
some dip rules for
dangerous.
this game?
They're at the highest
I'm down to
level
play.
of criminality. And we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century.
Alan, I'm gonna need a lot of water.
Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess. What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you all in
Just
this
like the
debate
last
tonight,
3.5 years,
you're going to
though.
hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies,
Oh, come on,
grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected
It's okay,
again.
Big Grizzly. I'm glad you
I
made it, brother.
believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance
What's the
of bringing
rules?
us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess some good, some bad. But it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic. And
There's
the
no way,
pandemic
bro.
was not
There's
since
no way.
1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said
is hard.
is that Donald Trump's
hard to
plan
listen
would
to.
make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump, 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just
According
have to
to
look
Google.
at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually
It is,
has no
Kenny.
plan for
It is.
you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
That's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this, because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have, and who's going to have higher prices, is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country, because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep a number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is, under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military.
This is a live show.
Basically sold
This is a
us
live
out
show.
when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point,
This is what you're
when we know
fucking
that Xi
mentioning
was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you.
Siberia.
Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban, because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, When Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban, because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter, because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to your desk?
Well, I won't have to, because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of? When they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. in all fairness. J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it, because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond. But I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. And that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing,
CBD. Hopefully it'll
you should
mail
ask,
me out. It'll mail me out.
will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer
That's
the
problem.
question? Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question, would you veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said, we put the baby aside, and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to
Sandy,
immigration and border security.
agree.
We know it's an issue that's
Sandy.
important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the
Zip
board
has doubled
in
the
this
price.
country. Vice President Harris, you were
this
tasked by
current
President
administration.
Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly.
anywhere. The
But
last
my
10
question
minutes,
to you
it was
tonight
just-
is why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill?
That's number one thing.
Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
Yeah. Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formally worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain,
That's
including
not
the
something to brag
endorsement
about,
of
Kamala.
former Vice President Dick
Not
Cheney
something to
and
brag
Congress
about.
member Liz Cheney.
That
And
is
if
not
you want
something
to
to
really
brag
know
about.
the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a four-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond here.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people, not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any president, sitting president in history by far.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier, so let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S. military.
Police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah, it is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country, and they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in. And all over the world, crime is down. All over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice
Excuse me,
President
the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people
Vice President Harris, thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation that went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my
Because I'm
values have
losing in
not
the
changed, and
polls.
I'm going to discuss at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking, because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States, and in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders
Sean? How
to
you doing,
increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down and name-calling. The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your response?
Well, first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish, one thing so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead, fossil fuel will be dead, we'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out of. You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres of desert soil.
President Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not good
issues
things
that we
for the
have to get
environment,
to.
as
We're
she
out of time.
understands.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America? They're coming in from all over the world, David. All over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just ask you,
David, when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle? They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
They took over.
But let me just ask you.
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi. But I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course
Turn the
for
page.
the future
Bitch, the book is
and
on
not
you right
go
now, you
backwards to
dummies.
the past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because they have destroyed our energy business. That was where bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I ask you this. You talk about the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed. You'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll say, come on down to the office. Let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue to both of you because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
that.
You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls, and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm. Lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them
judge looked at it.
And said
they said we didn't have standing.
That.
That's the other thing.
Are you kidding
They said
me?
we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person in an election doesn't have standing? The President of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter because we have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is we have a nation in decline, and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker. So he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. Good. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did, in fact, lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact. That's deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
I'll give you 1 minute to respond, Mr. President.
Let me just talk about world leaders. Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men. They call him a strong man. He's a tough person.
What's your policies, bro?
Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago, it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him. China was afraid, and I don't like to use the word afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him. North Korea was afraid of him. Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed, and now she's running. I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because
your time is
I think we're going to do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers. What we know is that this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that. Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and an equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up, far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, She hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population, because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation. And now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un. And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on national security, including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it, that's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed her last week, said, I hope she wins. And I think he meant it, because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent, and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way, gets paid a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much more of this historic ABC News presidential debate from the National Constitution Center right here in Philadelphia. Back in
Wow, there's actually more. All right, cool. Let's do this. It's not going anywhere, dude. I got so much. There's two of them. I had a Siberia. I had a Canada Dips In. I had a Snooze Winter Chill and a Snooze Mellow. I'm a little bit shaky. I'm a little bit shaky right now, dude. We're gonna let this roll. Actually, let me discuss this, guys. If you guys are vibing and haven't done so yet, dude, do me a favor and like this video. And again, guys, sorry, the intro, we just started right off. The live vibe is obviously sponsored by OutlawDip.com. You can use my code VIBE10 to save you 10% off on Outlaw Dip. I'm actually gonna pack one of these new flavor of the month, which is on sale, not on sale, but it's available right now. The Cinna Apple Twist. I'm gonna get some long cut now. You guys know about me and pouches, right? Less spitting and shit in the mic right now, dude. But, dude, bro, this is... Okay, that's good. We got a little timer there. Three minutes to go. They're both dancing around the questions. I want to hear more from Kamala, unfortunately, more than I do from Trump. I know what Trump's policies are. But, bro, I'm tired of hearing about January 6th. The Charlottesville has already been proven bullshit. Bro, all these things, it's like... What? It's a freaking circus, dude. It's a freaking circus, dude. And it's crazy. 56 days is the election, dude. Do you know how quick that's gonna be in? Bro, that's freaking crazy. Grayson, you got 3 pinches of outlaw dipping? Right on, brother, right on. You got the extreme Leinstein? There we go, dude. Taking light viber back. Bro, you're watching us in the freaking Tepski, dude. ABC News trying so hard to paint Trump in... Oh, yeah. I know. It is. He's used to it, though. You know what I mean? He's used to it. But... Oh, my God. It's just... It's a fucking shit show, dude. Ghost! Q-Ro, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? Welcome to the live vibe, dude. Yeah, they're funny. It's dude. It's a circus show. I get it. But there's something about her, dude. All these promises, dude, and for what, dude? She's the VP now. On day one, bitch, do it now. I like what Trump said. Hey, you can shut the border right now. Get Joe out of bed at 4 p.m. and sign it right now. The shit that's happening in Colorado, dude, bro, those videos are freaking scary. And the cops, what are the cops doing? They can't do anything, dude. You know how hard it is to become a cop right now, man? They're not backed right now, dude. And especially in the state of freaking Colorado, dude. I don't know, dude. We need change, dude. We need change. We cannot do this for another 4 years. We can't. We won't have a country, dude. We won't have a freaking country, man. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. Yes, I saw some clips of it, dude. I like that he's doing these long-form podcasts with influencers. I think it's very smart. I think because they're not scripted, dude, and they ask him normal questions. You know what I mean? It's great. He's doing it very smart. Whoever's advising him right now to do these things with these streamers, dude. Shit, I want Trump on the live vibe, dude. You think I can get Trump on the live vibe with all 26 likes I got right now here? You think he'll join the live vibe, dude? Pack a fatty with me? Dude, Trump has said he's never smoked a cigarette, never drunk a thing of alcohol. All right, let's see what we got.
When it ends in just a few minutes, join us for an analysis.
Come on, let's get back. How long is this debate for, guys? Dude, this is an apple twist, dude. I ain't lying, dude. This is, and I'm doing the pouches right now. Usually the pouches, the full boldness, the flavor, it's just like you're dipping long cut wintergreen grizzly to a pouch, right? You get a little bit more tamer flavor, dude, but the fat cut, man, delicious. All right, here we go. Come on.
President, it has been the position of the Biden administration that we must defend Ukraine from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to defend their sovereignty, their democracy, that it's in America's best interest to do so, arguing that if Putin wins, he may be emboldened to move even further into other countries. You have said you would solve this war in 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight. How exactly would you do that? And I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for 250 billion or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. they're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe like I did with NATO. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like me as much as they like weak people. But you take a look at what's happening. We're in for 250 to 275 billion. They're into 100 to 150. They should be forced to equalize. With that being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin, hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left, I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here...
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time is up. Just to clarify in the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President Harris. I want to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine in this moment, but also, as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense.
Look, my
and
passport
because
has
of
this
our
stamp,
support,
guys.
because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda...
I'm lowering this, bro. Ukraine does not have a chance against Russia.
Why the European allies and our NATO allies are
Russia
so
right now is
thankful
just poking
that
them
you
with
are
the
no
stick.
longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour. I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and please, I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow, much happier than he is right now, But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening. But he does have that, something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did, and the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should. As a leader upholding international rules and norms, as a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We've talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on to Afghanistan.
Stoltenberg said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. Otherwise, we would have never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this, and the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this
That's why she's in the dungeon.
Former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States to be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that you began the negotiations with the Taliban.
So, if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, you know, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal and, in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was land, he owned buildings, and he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States.
You're not
and I
black,
think the American
dude.
people want better than that, want better than this, want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor.
Overseas.
We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other.
I've been to like 20, 30 states.
I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people.
There's nothing going on.
Knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
Horrible.
Vice President Harris, thank you. Lindsay?
President Trump, this is now your third time.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country, and they come up with things like what she just said. Going back many, many years, when a lot of people, including Mayor Bloomberg, agreed with me on the Central Park Five, they admitted, they said, they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and I'm going to build it again. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger. But they're destroying our economy. They have no idea what a good economy is. Their oil policies, every single policy. And remember this, she is Biden. You know, she's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman, she says. She is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad, and she can't get away with that.
All Trump used to talk about is how it is now.
I want to just respond briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country. One who believes in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism about what we can do instead of always disparaging the American people.
Why are you laughing?
I believe in what we can do to strengthen our small businesses, which is why I have a plan. Let's talk about our plans and let's compare the plans.
Give me your plan,
I have
Kamala.
a plan.
Give me your
to
plan.
give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction. To pursue their ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work. I have a plan, $6,000 for young families for the first year of your child's life to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering help with down payment of $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. That's the kind of conversation, I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling. Let's turn the page.
Vice President Harris, thank you. Let's turn to policy.
President
Let's
Trump,
turn back
we
to
have
policy.
to move on. President Trump.
Let's turn to policy, please.
Bad.
To defund the police.
Flights.
She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
she has
we do
a
have to
plan
move on
to
to
not
other
allow
issues.
fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
Okay.
That's what her plan is until just recently.
I just need to
President
respond.
Trump,
The former president has said something twice that I need to respond to.
I'm sorry, we're going to move on, Vice President Harris. President Trump, this is now your third time running for president. You have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better. Correct. Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care, always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this, I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote to change it. If they would have done that, we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up. They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones, too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain. I had a choice to make. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still
So take
never
that money
going
to
to
start
be
up
great, and
businesses
it's
and
too
help with the
expensive
families
for
with children.
people. And what we
I
will
have to fill
do
my own
is we're
business
looking
to
at different
afford
plans. If we can come
to
up
live
with a
because
plan
the
that's going to
money won't
cost
come from the-
our people, our population, less money, and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not-too-distant future.
Vice President Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government-run health care system. 2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private
Stein,
insurance option.
Do you want to talk
what is your
about
plan
government
today?
health care, brother?
Well, first of all, I
Is your healthcare good in
absolutely
Canada,
support, and over
Stein?
the last 4 years as vice president, private health care options. But
Takes 6
what we
months
need to
to
do
get
is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history to know where people stand. When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John McCain, who you have disparaged as being, you don't like him, you said at the time, because he got caught. He was an American hero. The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have no plan. And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell the people watching tonight, you remember what that was like? Remember when an insurance company could deny if a child had asthma, if someone was a breast cancer survivor, if a grandparent had diabetes? And thankfully, as I've been vice president, and we over the last 4 years have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, we have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices on behalf of you, the American people. Donald Trump said he was going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We did. And now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. Since I've been vice president, we have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding that the value I bring to this is that access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, not get rid of it, pass this pro-law in terms of where Donald Trump stands on that.
I want to move to an issue that's important for a lot
Made a
of...
mistake. At number one, John McCain fought Obamacare for 10 years. But it wasn't only him. It were all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what? We can do much better than Obamacare, much less money. But she won't improve private insurance for people, private medical insurance. That's another thing she doesn't want to get. People are paying privately for insurance that have worked hard and made money, and they want to have private. She wants everybody to be on government insurance where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need immediately.
President Trump, thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to get to that's important for a number of Americans, in particular younger voters, and that's climate change. President Trump, with regard to the environment, you say that we have to have clean air and clean water. Vice President Harris, you call climate change an existential threat. The question to you both tonight is, what would you do to fight climate change? And Vice President Harris, we'll start with you. 1 minute for you each.
Well, the former president had said the climate change is a hoax. And what we know is that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue. The young people of America care deeply about this issue. And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4 years, we have invested a trillion in a clean energy economy, while we have also increased domestic gas production to historic levels. We have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy to the point that we are opening up factories around the world. Donald Trump said he was going to create manufacturing jobs. He lost manufacturing jobs. And I'm also proud to have the endorsement of the United Auto Workers and Sean Fain, who also know that part of building a clean energy economy includes investing in American-made products, American automobiles. It includes growing what we can do around American manufacturing and opening up auto plants, not closing them like happened under Donald Trump.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
That didn't happen under Donald Trump. Let me just tell you, they lost 10,000 manufacturing jobs this last month. It's going, they're all leaving. They're building big auto plants in Mexico, in many cases owned by China. They're building these massive plants, and they think they're going to sell their cars into the United States because of these people. What they have given to China is unbelievable. But we're not going to let that. We'll put tariffs on those cars so they can't come into our country, because they will kill the United Auto Workers and any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit or South Carolina or any other place. What they've done to business and manufacturing in this country is horrible. We have nothing. Guys, because they refuse. You know, Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars. He's afraid to do it. Between him and his son, they get all this money from Ukraine.
Florida,
they get all this money from all of these different countries. And then you wonder, why is he so loyal to this one, that one, Ukraine, China? Why is he? Why did he get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? Why did she pay him $3.5 million? This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of our candidates. An historic night, this ABC News.
3-minute break for our closing arguments. Ninja, California is the bluest state there is, and they've been fight for green for a long time. Yeah, they've been fighting for that green shit for a long time. And yet, crazy is expensive. Solar plants have taken up so much land, and now they found out that they have to tax all electric vehicles. Didn't Governor Newsom say something by the year 2035? All cars in California, registered cars, need to be electric vehicles. I know. Me too. It's hard. But this is important, bro. This is important. I'm glad, though. Welcome to the shit show, everyone. Yeah, it's bad, dude. The small business owner, bro. It's been tough, dude. I'm not taking any advice from Kamala regarding economic bullshit, dude. Bro, they're calling it listen, they're calling it an existential crisis. The climate is always changing, bro. Okay? Earth is 4.5 billion years old, dude. Come on. The Democrats are pushing electric vehicles to the same time pushing for us less. Yeah. Do you guys know where these batteries are being made from, dude? The lithium is being mined, I think, in the Congo by child laborers, bro. And the thing is, Trump has made it's like, dude, there's a place for electric vehicles. He's not against electric vehicles. He's against freaking mandating that everyone should own one. That they need to drive one. Yeah, it won't happen, Mikey. It won't happen, brother. We got to be energy independent. We got to drill here, baby. Drill, baby, drill. Javier, what's up, dude? Welcome to Live By. Brain rot is real with Miss Cackle. She was cackling today. Yeah. Dude, Trump should have just... Listen, man, all Trump has to do is just talk about what's been going on in the last 3.5 years, 4 years. That's all he should be doing. But they're trapping him. They're trapping him with the J6 shit, all this other mumble-jumble bullshit, dude. Beats fat, bro? You like this?
I've been giving you the worst of me. Now you wanna stay the night. Pity how you work hard for me. Why forgetting how to talk? Now I don't like no humble beats. Just go and suss it up. Now it's time to marry me. And right after we're done, I've been giving you the worst of me.
I agree with you, Thor. Energy should be free, dude. Energy should be free. Albino Rhino, dude. What's up, brother? Welcome back to the Live Vibe, man. The song is called Marinate by Zorro. Marinate by Zorro. Z-O-R-R-O. Yeah, 25 grand to replace a Tesla battery or some bullshit.
Harris and Donald Trump.
And when it ends, please join us for analysis of tonight's key moments. Our team will break it down. As we enter the final sprint to Election Day, we'll go back to the debate and closing statements.
Live from the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here again, David Muir and Lindsay Davis.
Welcome back tonight. The time has come for closing statements, and Vice President Harris, we begin with you.
So I think you've heard tonight two very different visions for our country. One that is focused on the future, and the other that is focused on the past.
January 6th,
and an attempt to take us backward.
Yeah.
But we're not going back. And I do believe that the American people know we all have so much more in common than what separates us. And we can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition of the American people, which is why I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new families, in what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together that is about sustaining America's standing in the world and ensuring that we have the respect that we so rightly deserve, including respecting our military and ensuring we have the most lethal fighting force in the world. I will be a president that will protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. I'll tell you, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a DA, I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I've only had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on what we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up our country by investing right now in you, the American people.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Bro,
President
way
Trump.
more than 5 times, dude.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs, and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like we're not going to frack. We're not going to take fossil fuel. We're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughed. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
President Trump, thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia at the National Constitution Center. I'm Lindsay Davis.
And I'm David Muir. Thank you for watching here in the U.S. and all over the world, and from all of us here at ABC News. Good night.
All right, that shit show's done. Well, guys, what'd you think? Who won that debate? We didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, bro. We know about Planet Ping Pong, bro. All right, guys. Have you got time for it? I think we do. You guys are vibing. Let's do this. Let's play a quick game. One game of Deal or No Deal. You guys are vibing in chat. You guys know what to do. Drop them case numbers. Drop them case numbers. Let's do this, man. One game, speed round it, and then we go to live vibe after dark. But first, we gotta travel. We're going warp speed, dude. We're going super warped right now. All right. Oh, am I gonna learn my lesson? Yeah, baby. All right, guys. Welcome to Deal or No Deal. We are in season 12. The record to break tonight is $300,000. I am vibing with Elena Bay and the Falcon. All the hot ladies are vibing at the VIP room. And all the fellas are vibing at the big table. This is all you can eat, all you can dip, all you can drink, baby. If you pull a high number case, you will be disqualified and sent to the kiddie table. This is not a good place. You got Miracle Whip and fish heads and some butt plugs and some shit that will eat you alive. If you pull the $1 million case during the freaking game, you're screwed. You're going to the dungeon with Kamala Harris, Obama, Sleepy Joe, Najee Perosi, and other embarrassing creatures. You don't want to get disqualified and sent to the dungeon, especially after this shit show that we just witnessed. Drop your cases down below. Who wants to pick the first one? Let's do it, baby. Yeah, man. What a freaking mess that was. Yeah. I'm not surprised. All right, I'm going to take this dip out. I'm going to put back another pouch of apple cinnamon twist. Or cinnamon apple twist with Nick Safe. It was, Mikey. It was. But it wasn't as big of a mess. Thor, you're saying the you know what gate is worse than... Yeah, I do know that, but people need to be... How do you bring that up to the public, brother? how do you bring that up to the mainstream, you know? Yamaha. So we're gonna do a debate on a liberals, bro. I think that's it. Are we gonna do one more debate? I mean, the elections is in what, 56 days? There should be one more. I absolutely think that there should be one more debate. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is she? Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, she is. She's next to Trudeau. Sorry, Stein. I know you're a big Trudeau fan. All right, guys, drop your cases down below. Let's do this. Well, we got Ethan says lucky 7, but Ghost Q Row. We're gonna pick your case for the first case, brother.
This case is yours to keep, unless you decide to sell it back to the banker.
We hope
Round
this case
one.
is more than
Choose a
300,000, brother. But we're gonna start off with Ethan. Ethan, I got you for lucky 7, dude. No case, man. Come on, let's break our record. 300,000.
Nice one.
Oh, Ethan. Ethan was the first one to drop a case number. I'm glad I did not pull that as that case, dude. 16 for Wicked. Here we go, dude. Low case, baby.
Excellent.
There we go, Wicked. There you go, dude. Grayson, 26. Let's go.
Oh,
Oh, shit. Grayson.
Get over here!
I'm
Finish
sorry.
him!
You are disqualified. Welcome to the kitty table, you son of a bitch. You pulled the $500,000 case, Grayson. How dare you, dude? How freaking dare you, brother? On a freaking Tuesday during the debates, bro? This is your first DQ for season 12, man. I got you down in my little blue book. Grayson, sit in that, or you can, you know, pick the Elena chair or the Brittany chair, brother. This is a horrible place. You got booted, dude. You got the boot, man. You got the boot. Yeah, you did, dude.
You blew it!
Big time. Not cool, bro. Harris is I think we all know that, right? Yeah, he killed the pipeline. All right, guys, don't be a Grayson, okay? Cash, what up, brother? Case 8.
that's what we like to see.
There we go. There we go, dude. JD, my brother, dude. 25. Come on, JD, be good, bro.
That's what we like to see.
There we go, JD.
Force is strong in this one.
Force is strong. Phoenix, I got you for 3, dude. Don't be screwing this up, Phoenix.
That's what we like to see.
You didn't screw up this time, guys. Noble, you're next, brother. Number 13. Greg, you're going to have to pick another one. Noble's got 13. We're going to deny this
Deal
offer, obviously, guys. We
or
already got
no
one
deal?
DQ case off that first run. Not only, but our offer is 33,000.
You came here for the money. Time for the next round.
13, Noble. Be good, bro.
Oh, no.
My
There goes the $1 million case.
Noble! You son of a bitch, bro. You just ruined it. You are disqualified and sent to the dungeon, Noble. And now you are a dungeon master for season 12.
Nathan, call 911!
Help! Police! Help!
That is some bullshit, bro. Alright. Alright. We can still win this one, guys. We can still win this one. Ethan. 17, dude. Oh, man, this is... Come on. Alright, Ethan.
Like to see.
Thor, I got you for 11, brother. The God of Thunder joining us on a Tuesday night.
Excellent.
felt that roar, brother. I felt that roar. Mikey wants 5. Low case, baby.
That's what we like to see.
There you go, Mikey. Speaking of Mikey.
Goonies never say die!
Alright. Dodge that one, Mikey. Greg, I got you for 14. A lot of left cases. Oh, you motherfucker. Greg! I'm sorry, Greg.
Get over
I'm
here!
sorry, dude.
Finish it!
Come on, banker.
Have a
You can
seat.
do better than that.
Have a seat, Greg. Have a seat. Greg. Grayson, Noble, and Greg. Noble's vibing in the freaking dungeon right now, but Grayson and Greg are vibing at the kitty table. They are not at the big table. Everyone at the big table right now is pointing and laughing. We got Robert playing music. Dude, where the hell is Robert and Liz? We haven't seen them in a while. All right, here we go. No deal, $32,000, guys. We only got 1 case. We got 1 case left that can break our record.
No
We got a
deal.
ways to go.
That's the spirit.
We got a ways to
Time
go.
for the
Once that
next
case is
round.
gone, the game is over, and we move into live vibe after dark. Noble, you also ruined the debate. All right, Derek. I got you for the redhead, bro.
Nice
All
one.
right, Derek. You didn't suck today, bro. Case 10. Ja Crispy. Gotta help your boy Grayson.
Oh.
It's okay, Ja Crispy. Your boy Grayson is feeling it right now in the dungeon, dude. 9 for Mama.
Oh, darn.
Phoenix? Game over, guys. Phoenix, you're at the kitty table. Sorry, guys. That was the quickest game of Deal or No Deal ever. Phoenix goes to the kitty table. Noble, not cool. I know.
Brother, what's that? What's that?
I called for help twice, and not a f you, what do you need, or nothing.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Rest in peace, guys. Grayson. Oh, never mind, Grayson. You're right. Noble's at the dungeon. My bad, bro. My bad, Grayson. My bad, bro. All right, guy. Game over. Game is over. We're not breaking our record.
Oh.
Again, I just wanted to exit out this game. All right, we're transporting out of here, guys. All right, guys, welcome to Live Vibe After Dark. We're gonna change the playlist up here. We're gonna go into a little bit of reggae. We're doing some reggae, guys. We are going to our Discord server, and we're gonna be sharing photos of you guys live hours. I'm gonna open up Discord, which is cool because it's 11 o'clock. Hopefully we'll have some time. Again, we have another hour here. We're gonna go over to the Discord, and I would like to open up with a discussion if you guys have a question of the day, of any question you guys want to ask. Let's do it up, baby. Let's do it up. Where did we leave off yesterday? We got Gloomish Mythology Test 1. I'm not really familiar with that. Well, I know what the Egyptian Ankh is. That was my first tattoo ever, guys. You guys know I got the Egyptian Ankh? It means eternal life. No, this one. It's right there. But what do you mean, Gloomish? Is Gloomish even still vibing here? What do you mean by mythology test number 1? Harold! Alright, I'm getting some Fear and Loathing vibes. But he's got a nice pendant here. What is it, a daiquiri? He's got a J in him. He's got a J in him. Where we are going! We don't need roads. Welcome to Live Vibe After Dark. Sorry, I missed that one, dude. I missed that one. Mikey, we're just gonna have to wait for tomorrow, brother. We play a couple games of Deal or No Deal, but tonight it's a special night because of the debates. And now we are vibing in Live Vibe After Dark. We need some reggae in our lives after whatever that debate was. I know, dude. I know. That's right, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know, Phoenix. It's Seth. I don't know. Chris, did you do a tattoo showcase video yet? No, I have not. You guys can see. You guys see this tattoo. You guys can't miss this sucker. But the right one, no, I don't think I've ever showed you guys. It's all pirate themed. Well, I got, you know, on top of here I have Pirates of the Caribbean, but this is all pirate themed. I got a pirate gun, medallion, eye patch, pirate map. I'll see if I can take some photos. It's an Unk, yeah. Raw, okay. So what's the symbology on that one, dude? Yeah, Darcy got me Anubis. I do know some like it's the Hound, right? It's the Hound. He got me this when he went to Egypt. This thing is like made out of stone, dude. This thing you can get someone out of this one, dude. But you know, BB just got this. Ah, okay. So that necklace he just got. Speaking of Robert, yo, joining a little late. What's cracking, love? Robert, where you been, bro? Feel like we haven't seen you forever, man. Sprinting to Robert with ice cold Modelo. P.O.B. vibing. Farky, back in the grind. Keep grinding, Farky. Keep grinding, brother. Wicked Clown, my doggos. Batman and... Bro, you have a doggo named Gizmo, bro? Come on, man. Come on. That is awesome. We need a better picture, Wicked. We need a better picture. We want to see that face, that cute face, dude. Is this one called Gizmo? Or is the black one called Gizmo? I love Gizmo, bro. Dude, Gremlins, man. I grew up on Gremlins. Have you seen my beach ball? I believe it. I believe I left you right over there. Robert dive bombs in for a hug. Yeah, that's right. It's been forever since Logie and Robert reconnected. or Top. It's a man chicken holding an open. Oh, Ninja. It's a man chicken, guys, okay? You didn't know that? It's a man chicken. Look at this Gloomish. We're going back to your photo, bro. The jackal-headed god is the god of the afterlife. But I do not know what Ra is the god of, other than the sun. I could go on Google, but I don't know from memory without Google. Go on Google, brother. Blushes and looks away and wraps around. Okay, they're doing it, guys. They're back. Quinoa sauce. Sifting through names to replace quinoa sauce. Let me know which one. Quinoa sauce. Sounds cool. Zambroni. King Zambro. The Great Zambroni. Xenoman. Zebat. Alright, quinoa. I like quinoa, though. I like Zambroni. Zambroni. It gives me the Rock vibes when you call people jabronis. Here, Grayson, here's my picture and a few description of the Eagle Scouts yearbook. Dude, I didn't know they made yearbooks. That's sick, dude. 2019? Oh, look at Grayson. Bucktail Council Troop 0046. Morristown. Border Review. Who is the person you most admire? Tim Tebow, because he is spiritual, works hard to help others, and inspires people to do the same. That's a good person. That's a good person to admire, that Grayson. Please give one sentence description of your Eagle Scout project. My Eagle Scout project promotes pride in community and country. Damn, I like that, dude. What is your favorite merit badge and why? Welding. I like working with my hands. Welding is a skill that complements the profession I most want to pursue. Automotive technician. Nice. Where was your favorite place to go to as a scout? Letchworth State Park in New York. We went there for summer camp once. And you went whitewater rafting? On the Genesee River? Hell yeah, Grace. Oh, I'm sorry, Grace. I had you cut off there, brother. Look at all them badges, bro. Hell yeah, Grayson. Thank you for sharing, brother. Ra was the creator of all gods and humans and was the patron of the sun, heaven, kingship, power, and light. He was also the god of order, truth, prophecy, sight, and resurrection. From my Google. Is your Google different than my Google? Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate you, dude. Horus. Ooh. I've heard of Horus. Liz! Hi, Chris and Live Vibers. Love reggae. Used to go to a bar called Vinny's in the Tower District every Thursday. Reggae nights back in the day. I don't even know who's in that club or that club is still open. I can guarantee that club is not open anymore, Liz. A lot of venues have closed in the last few years. No, I'm just playing. I hope it's still open, Liz. Liz, I hope you're vibing. I saw that, what did I see? What was I browsing? You saw Beetlejuice, right? You took your family, you and Robert went to go see Beetlejuice. What did you think of Beetlejuice? Jesse, and Tim when saw it. When did we saw it? We saw it Saturday night. No, yeah, we saw it. Most sequels suck, but this one, I think, this one was funny. The writing was good. The jokes were good. Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton, it was as good as you're gonna get. It was a good reboot. Look at Liz. Robert and Logie never stop connecting. Liz, come over to my treehouse, por favor. We have a lot to catch up with. Oh. Thank you for the super chat, Robert. Miss my Logie. Tomorrow's gonna be such a vibe. Shout out Ninja for her mod skills. Absolutely. Freaking Ninja killed it, man. Dude, tomorrow's AI Wednesday, guys. I don't know what the theme is gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna let you guys know. We're gonna have a theme. It's AI Wednesday, dude. We're vibing hard tomorrow, dude. Ninja, I'll leave. Box away. Drag your blanket on the floor. Oh no, JD. You're allowed in the treehouse. You're vibing in the treehouse right now, dude. You're not leaving. You're not leaving. Oh, my bad, dude. My bad, Thor. It was at 17. I usually have it at 9:10. My bad, brother. The wilderness must be explored. Kaka. Robert. Here's your proof that I'm not lying. Bro, Grayson. Come on, Grayson. Come on, brother. None of us thought you were lying, bro. None of us thought you were lying. Dippin' Rent a Cowboy. Our boy, Derek. I'm vibing with Milwaukee's best. Ice tonight. I've never heard of that beer. Milwaukee's best, yes. But Milwaukee's best ice? Is that like a shittier version of Milwaukee's best? And a 15-pack of cans? What is it, like 3 rows of 5? Is that how they do it? I've never heard of a 15-pack. I heard of a 12. I've heard of an 18-pack. Never heard of a 15-pack. Is it like, I get it. You buy a 12-pack and you get 3 for free. Is that what it is, bro? Derek, I hope you're vibing, dude. I'm not sure our Googles are the same. No, they are the same, dude. They are the same. Steps on blanket. Get over here, JD. There you go. There you go. Three-way. He's in. He's in. Oh, not yet. I saw someone on my timeline go see Beetlejuice. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's really good. Nah, you're good, Ghost. We're just vibing, dude. Bro, Derek. Derek. Please. Derek. Derek be vibing with the mess on the floor, brother. Ew.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
I know. Derek, you got to this is like an episode of Hoarders, bro. You got peep bottles in there, dude. I'm more of a bourbon guy, yeah. JD's a bourbon dude. JD's a bourbon dude. Riley, dude, another beautiful night in the field. Our fellow Canadian dude doing work. Hell yes, Riley. Hell yes, Riley. Look at that sunset. Or sunrise. Could be a sunrise, dude. He's a farmer, dude. He's farming. Regmeister, 32,000 acres burned and 14%. That's not bad from a day. Yesterday was 5% contained. That's better than this time yesterday. Fires are spreading crazy in Cali, dude. It's that time of year, man. It's that time of year. Oh, dude. We vibing and so ready for Halloween. Bro, that looks sick. Dude, I'm getting some Stranger Things vibe with those lights. I love it, Liz. I freaking love it. You got them canned. Dude, look at that vibe, dude. Dude, Robert and Liz are vibing, dude. I like that vibe. I like the orange. My whole living room is like an orange, warm. I'm super excited for Halloween season. I mean, we're already in the season, bro. Spirit Halloween opened like last month. It's September 10th. Just jumped on the check-in. Love y'all always. Have a great night and beautiful morning. Everyone, see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night, Robert. Thank you for stopping in, dude. We missed you, bro. Wicked, the other picture I have of Batman. What do you call it? The only picture I have of Batman. This wasn't one of the dogs you showed earlier, was it? Oh, look how cute that dog. I want to pet that dog, man. Logie, I showed Robert the pic when you were ready for your birthday spanking. Ghost, did 7 say bourbon, dude? $10 for a 15-pack. My OCD is killing me right now. Derek. You're picky with beer. I would be scared if Robert came home with that beer, Derek. Yeah, you would question your marriage when you came with Milwaukee's best ice. I'm kind of a rum and whiskey kind of guy. P.O.B., what's up, brother? We ain't able to share your photos, bro. What's that medallion of, P.O.B.? What's that medallion of? The skeleton. It's a cool, dude. It's very, like, psychedelic looking, dude. I like it. We're going to Spirit Halloween this Sunday to get the girls' costumes. Stop it, Liz. You only missed Robert, Chris, right? I saw Robert in chat. I didn't know you were in chat. I missed the live vibe, sexy mama. Are you kidding me? Get the power couple. I love the vibe, though, Liz. I love the vibe. Joe Crispy finally got to try, kangaroo jerky? No way. Along with python jerky, alpaca, and antelope. Didn't try it yet. Kangaroo tastes like deer jerky. Bro, they look exactly like a deer. Their faces look like deers. It tastes exactly like deer jerky, but more gamey. Alpaca tastes gamey beef. Python tastes like chicken, and it's chewy. Really good exotic jerky like that. it at a beef jerky experience shop at Timbuckle Outlets today. Awesome store with all kinds of jerky and hot sauces. I love those type of places, brother. Pork and antelope stick. Alpaca snack stick. Jalapeno. Okay, I like my meats, bro. That... I don't know about python, bro. I don't know. There's something about eating snake that's just like, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with me. Like, I tried gator and I'm just like, oh, dude, no. It's a freaking reptile, bro. Same way I feel about it. And if it tastes like chicken, dude, if I want something that tastes like chicken, I'll just eat chicken. I'll eat chicken. Is it really 11 grams of protein, though, per serving? The python is the same as the kangaroo. I think those numbers are bullshit, dude. But here we go. Kangaroo jerky. That is, bro, do they have to put like cute little animals on it? I get it. It's cool. Give me the alpaca, bro. Give me the jalapeno snack one. The pork and antelope. I mean, dude, I would try python. I'll try all of them. I would try them all. Ostrich. I've had ostrich jerky. It's good.
Yo, live, what's up? Jared here, aka Crispy.
Crispy.
Dipping on Copenhagen mint.
Attaboy.
Using last night's beer as my spitter.
Bush.
Also my spitter last night. So I'm enjoying North Carolina. The southern hospitality down here is amazing. A lot of cool head shops. Also got some exotic jerkies that I'll be showing on Discord tonight. One love, y'all.
Wait, so you're visiting?
Maybe 6 unions tonight. Still pretty buzzed. Hell yeah. One love, y'all. One love.
One love, Crispy. One love, brother. Dude, Elena's in Illinois, man. She's a traveling woman. She's celebrating her birthday week. And she's visiting some friends in Illinois, man. She's been going places, man. She's like Kamala Harris. She's traveled all over our country, guys. You guys know that, right? Cody, what up, brother? Yo, everyone. Hope you all had a great day. Of course we did. I bought a pair of shoes that were originally $140 and I got them for $55. Gotta love mother-in-law having a membership there and bargain shopping. He's Snoopoo goofing. He's Snoopoo goofing. I also talked to my boss and she said that they're considering moving me to work from home, but it depends on how the next few weeks. Oh, I see. They're already freaking yanking their chain. Those bastards, man. Crispy said, good beer too. Your Bush Light. 100% real ostrich. Is that the guy from Reno? I love Reno 911. Bro, that's what I got. Oh, that gator's dead, bro. I love Reno 911. He's new Tennessee goofing too. Alright guys, if you guys have a deep question or a fun question to ask the live vibe, ask it below. Let's vibe, dude. For those of you guys who are vibing with us, thank you for hanging out tonight. We got a more than normal bigger turnout in the first half of the show. But it was cool. It's a shit show, guys. As we get closer to the election, there's gonna be things that are gonna be happening, and I'm gonna bring them up in the live vibe, dude. And we're gonna discuss it, man, like adults. I don't care if you're a Kamala fan. I don't care about all that shit. We can coexist. But this is wild, bro. This is wild. I'm more of a Coors Banquet kind of guy. A lot of you guys are Coors Banquet guys. Oh man, freaking Zach's gonna kill me. Dark Hills is Coors Banquet. Or is he Coors Original? No, Banquet. The tan can. The tan can. Ooh, I love this song.
So don't stop. believing that we'll rise up. To the system that we're wise up. Until we standing strong again. Don't stop believing that we'll rise up. To the system and we wise up. Until we're standing strong again.
I don't doubt that.
Don't stop. Rise up. Wise up. Until we stand it. Don't stop. Wise up. Standing strong again.
JD Chris, that's my favorite line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that gator's about 10 years old. Slaps his head. Oh, that gator's dead. No. You gotta come at him like a predator. Not a prey, but a predator. If you don't respect the gator don't respect you. Oh, that gator dead. Oh, man. You guys remember that, right? That gator's dead. Funny how that is. Now I'm living in Florida. You guys, when I was a kid, man, when the Florida Marlins became a team, the color of turquoise, bro. Oh, grew up a Padres fan. Still am a huge Padres fan, but as like a 10, 11-year-old, I've always had a Florida Marlins hat. I always told my dad, give me a Florida Marlins hat. I like the color. And now I'm living in Florida. I think they have one of the sickest uniforms. Well, not now. No. Right now they're like Miami. Right? No. They need to go back, bro. They need to go back. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, gator and ostrich, dude. Like those boots, bro. I live 15 minutes away from the border, bro. Like they had freaking all kinds of leather animal shit so you can get legally. A lot of, bro. Have you seen those boots with the Mexicans, like the traditional Mexicans, where like the toe goes up and it curls all the way up? It's freaking gnarly, bro. Chris, me, my mom, and my dad, my mom's friend from work, his girlfriend and his dad and their friends are on vacation, staying in a beach house in North Carolina in Coral. That's right, you were talking about yesterday. That's why you were talking about the grill. Hey, man, you're on vacation and you're still checking in with the Live Vibes of Crispy. I appreciate you, bro. I hope we're not taking any time away from your family and friends, dude. I appreciate you taking time, dude, and hanging out with us, dude. Oh, so you know, oh shit. Oh, so you know Dark Hill's favorite, but not my favorite things? I see how it is. JK Ross, I still love you. I love you. You guys know mine, right? It's on the Falcon. Elysian Space Dust. But my favorite brewery is Stone Brewery from San Diego. Arrogant Bastard Ale. I'm sure you guys have heard Stone Brewery before. We love you, Liz. Have a great night. Hopefully we'll have some fun with AI with you tomorrow. Did I ask? Okay. Oh, Ninja. Alright, Ninja. I was going to pull up my question folder. I have a list of questions, but Ninja's got one. What was one major epiphany? What was one major epiphany, and how has it impacted your life? Well, let's try to find a way to reword this one, Ninja. But you guys, what is one major epiphany you've had, and how has it impacted your life? One major epiphany, whether it could be in a major event or, you know, epiphany is just the realization of something, and how has it impacted your life? JD, I'm going to screenshot yours. Your question. Of course not, Chris. Y'all ain't a bother to vacation time. And hell no, I can never miss. Oh, I appreciate you, Crispy. Nice, JD. Sticking on the theme of tonight's episode. Ooh, yep, Ninja. Good one as well. Ninja Bear, this is kind of goes along with what I asked about. It doesn't matter who they are, how long you've known them. Someone can turn their back on you at any time for any reason. Take it easy, Ghost. Q-Ro, man. Thanks for stopping in, dude, and bonding with us, brother. I appreciate you, man. What was one major epiphany, and how has it impacted your life? JD, I learned that everything, literally everything, is connected. And that we put out is what we get back. It has given me a more positive outlook to do good and spread love. I love that one, JD. I 100%, dude, believe what you put out to people, to the universe, to God, to whatever you believe in, is what you're going to get back in. If you're someone who's always a negative person and is the person who's always driving fast, cutting people off, flipping people off, that's the energy, that's the vibes that you're going to get back to you, man. If you spread love and cheer, keep a positive outlook in life, you will be blessed. You will be blessed. And like, believing in this, guys, believing in that. First off, we're all connected, bro. We're connected with the bugs, the plants, the soil. Mother Earth, baby. We are all connected, man. And what we put out is what we get back in. Now, is that a horrible way to view life? Hell no. If you are aware of that, if everyone lived by that, if everyone knew that what you put out, it gets, bro, the world will be a better place, brother. It would be. Just to answer, Liz still here. Just to answer Ninja's question of the day. I almost died drinking and driving when I was 18. I crashed into an empty water canal, leaving my country home, driving back to Fresno where I lived at the time. Hardest thing I had to do was climb out of that canal to get help. And I thank God every day I didn't die that night. And I didn't kill anyone drinking and driving. True story. Liz, I did not know that about you, Liz. That must have been, oof. I can't imagine that, Liz. I can't imagine that, that trauma. Oof. So, since that incident, you've never driven and drive again, I'm sure. Liz, thank you for sharing that, Liz. That's crazy. That's wild. Phoenix, I think this is good. Continuation. Oh no, that was a question of the day. To Crispy, my biggest epiphany was to keep staying strong no matter what life throws my way. Whether it's some of the women that broke my heart or ridding toxic people I never look back or stay down, I stand. Or stay down, I stand. I'm confused by your last few words there. You just gotta stay strong no matter what. Exactly. Just whatever life throws at you, man. Obviously, some people have had tougher times than others, but who are we to judge whose life is tougher than someone else's? But staying strong, bro. It's hard. It's easy to play victim. It really is, to fold and to go to a comfort place, and you gotta be strong, man. Gloomish, hey dudes. I was watching the debate. Sorry I'm late. Gloomish, we watched it live. You could have watched it with the live back, Gloomish. We played the whole thing. Sorry, Chris, but the quote Kid Rock from Only God Knows Why. You get what you put in. And people get what they deserve. But still ain't seen mine. No, I ain't seen mine. I haven't lost hope. But how much positivity put in does it see it come back? Kid Rock knows everything, bro. He has all the answers. Just because they are blood family doesn't mean you have to keep them around. If they're a constant negative impact in your life, that's a good one, Logie. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, man. Just because they're blood, bro, doesn't mean you have to put up with their bullshit. Especially if they're, again, a negative impact, just like Logie says. Liz, as I represent of Logie, bail bonds, the statute of limitations is over, right? JK, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad she is too. The live vibe sexy mama would never be here. Be vibing with us. If she learned that lesson. Sage Gloomish. My parents were so sad and disappointed, but so glad I didn't die that night. So just trying to be the best that I can be after that. What's your other option? To be the worst that you can after that experience? That happened to you for a reason, Liz. You've learned from that. It made you a better and a stronger person. Believe it or not. You're a rock star, Liz. JD, my attorney is sad. I can't say no more about that. Gloomish Sage. Gloomish. I'm ready for the words of the day to reflect on. Grayson. I would say my first ever vehicle accident. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt like an idiot, and I swerved to miss a deer. The vehicle rolled, and I almost flew out the window, but I didn't. Damn. I should be dead right now, but I'm not. And I'm gonna take this second chance in life seriously. Yeah, it's some angels watching over you, Grayson. Oh, we love you, Liz. We love you, Liz. I swear this live vibe is a group therapy session, and it feels so cathartic to hear everyone's stories. Y'all are some of the strongest inspirational people I've ever met in my life. It's a blessing. You just explained the live vibe, brother. This is AA. I see this as an AA. I do see this as therapy. Yeah, we talk a little bit of dip, but we open up, man. And that's the core of the live vibe, dude. And this is something that I would never in a million years, you know, starting to making dip videos, you know, connecting most with people by opening up and sharing experiences and sharing my journey with you guys and you guys opening up. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. You guys are the live vibe. As JD pleads the fifth to Liz. Grace and I remember the night you crashed. You sent me a photo of your truck, and I was worried like crazy and was relieved you were all right that night, brother. Only God knows why. Kid Rock, I've been given, just ain't been getting. I've been walking that their line, so I think I'll keep walking. My head up high, I'll keep moving on. And only God knows why. Only God knows why. Question of the day. The day someone challenged my self-worth and self-love really helped dismantle my defensive walls I had against the world. Made me rethink how I truly think of myself, and now I'm more humble. That's beautiful, Ninja. Broke down those walls. The thing is, once you know who the fuck you are, dude, Ninja knows who the fuck she is, man. Once you know who the fuck, like, you don't really give a shit what anyone else thinks about you, because you know what type of person you are. You know what I mean? You get to that point by fucking taking charge of shit, not playing victim, by self-discipline. You can't get to that place if you know that you're being not the best version that you can be of yourself. You know what I mean? Summer is almost over. I know. What, September, right? A couple weeks, I think it's gonna be fall, baby. I can relate, Ninja. I was an unknowing 20-something-year-old that thought I could take on the world. I've had a few experiences that greatly humbled me, and that is a valuable trait to have. Yes. Humble people. In order to be humble, you had to be humbled, if that makes any sense. You have to be the veil, the epiphany, right? Gloomish. I've had an epiphany recently that all my problems that I currently have are due to my inaction and passive acceptance, and that I hold the power to change it all and shape my life in any direction. Son of a bitch. Gloomish. I've learned that when I hit rock bottom, brother. I've learned that when I hit rock bottom. That being said, that was probably my major epiphany. That and finding God again. Finding Jesus. Gloomish. Beautiful, dude. Beautiful. Yeah. No one's gonna change you but you guys. You guys, no one's gonna hold your hand, dude. You gotta be a big boy. And as soon as you realize that you are God, you are the creator of your destiny. Think about this, guys. And I've seen this memed a few times. If you were to write an autobiography right now, from the day you're born to right now where you are in life, if you were to write a story, your life story till today, and you handed it to someone, if it doesn't inspire the reader, your story, if it's not that good ending, that happiness, then you got some work to do. You got some work to do. If your story doesn't inspire and help others, it's not, then you got some work to do. You guys are the narrators of your own story, dude. How do you want it to end, man? How do you want it to end? Are you fulfilling your destiny, your dream, your purpose in life? Or is it going to be... Yeah. Bloomish, well said, brother, from Nogi. I'm glad I know the best version of myself. No one knows me like I do. And that is a fact. It's true. Obviously. But today, I'm the best version of myself. Tomorrow, I can be an even better version of myself. And an even better version of myself. And an even better version of myself. And even better. There is no end, guys. The work is always being done. I'm constantly learning. Learning life's... learning from what life throws at you to become better. As a man that used to self-loathe himself as a young teen and wish he wasn't around anymore, I am forever grateful for the strength that saved me from doing something stupid. Yeah, you have it in you, dude. We're all fighters, baby. We all gotta fight that. Your thoughts are, your thoughts are your thoughts, man. Your thoughts are just based on conditioning. Gotta take control. Take action. In the wise words of Corey Taylor, don't let this effing world tear you apart. Don't let it, man. I would end with, and now I'm an effing loser, but my choices have led me here. I hope to change my future, but I'm not working hard enough. I'm sure I believe in myself enough anymore. I wrote that in my autobiography. Look, I'm not even trying to be that Debbie Downer or self-hating. I'm just spitting facts here. You know that your choices have, at least you know your choices have led you there. It's no one else's fault but yours, dude. Now it's time to make changes. Chris, the biography you're talking about is what I call the business card. You should build your life to be something that you would be proud to put on a business card with your name and handout. I mentioned it before, but this is the absolute favorite part of the live vibe. It is. It's mine too, dude. It's mine too. It's mine too. Bro, like, we peaked at like 50, 60. I was watching the numbers, viewers, during the debate. But then, you know, there's always the most people at first. They stay, people like Derek and Stillman, they're only here to play Deal or No Deal, and then they just bounce off and they don't interact and stuff. But it's the end of the live vibe. This is where the growth happens, man. Exactly. There we go, Phoenix. On the flip side, my autobiography isn't supposed to be written yet. Because I still have a lot left in me. Damn right you do. And a lot of life left in me. A lot better choices to make left in me. Yeah, dude. That's why I said if it ended today and you're not proud of yourself, you got some work to do. You got some work to do. My story isn't written yet, man. Fuck no. There's so much work for me to do, man. Phoenix, start to love yourself again. And you got it, buddy. Absolutely. Thor Orton, you said it, brother. We are all blessed with the strength 24/7. Logie, I thought you might like to know that I'm using my wisdom to potentially make money and help men all over the country discover themselves through hard work and camaraderie. Hell yes, Gloomish. I'll keep you guys posted on how this project goes, but it has great promise. Gloomish, that's awesome, man. Maybe reach out to Darcy to get some tips. Yeah. And Gloomish, if there's anything I can do to help out, brother, let me know. Conscious Man Darcy on Instagram. Conscious Man Darcy on Instagram. Instagram DM. Gloomish, he's been on here like a few weeks ago, dude. I'm gonna hit him up. I'll see if I can get him on like Friday or something. I'll Gloomish. I can hit Darcy up, dude. When was the last time he was in the live vibe? I might have him on. I'm gonna hit him up. I think it's time to. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Gloomish. For sure, dude. Hey, Denise. Good morning, Denise. Gloomish, I'm gonna have Darcy on. So, shoot me some questions to ask Darcy, or just be here during when he comes on. Today's what, Tuesday? I'll hit him up tomorrow. I'll let you know though. I'll keep the live ad posted. I would like to get him on this week. If not, for sure, probably next week. It all depends. I know he's not traveling right now, so I'm gonna reach out to him. Good morning, Bay. Oh, Thor. The hubby. All right, guys. Really quick. Speed answers for this last question before we start 7 minutes in heaven. JD brought a great question. If you were president, what's one thing you would... Bro, this would be a good title for a video, bro. This is a good opening. No, but tomorrow's AI, so we're not gonna have time. So let's do it now. If you became president, guys, what is one thing you would work to change? You guys know my answer. By the way, I guess Trump is supporting the Florida making marijuana recreational. That might be on the ballot. I am not going to sleep tonight. I have to go to... Bro, I took so much nicotine today, dude. I had like 4 pouches in my mouth, dude. I feel kind of wired right now, but tired at the same time. I don't know why it's taking me so long to focus on this. I didn't even take an Eddie, bro. I'm sure you guys are already answering in the comments, so hopefully. For me, is it would have to be in the psychedelic realm. Not necessarily making it legal, but making it everywhere, every major city. Have counselors. You should be able to, just like if you want to go get a massage, you should be able to go, like just like you can go to therapy, you should be able to go nationwide availability for a cheap price to go and do a psychedelic with a counselor, with a therapist, and they can guide you through the process. It would be regarding psychedelics for me. There's an email in the description of this video, Gloomish. Shoot them there. Or brother, Gloomish. I mean, I don't know if they're private questions. During the live vibe, you could always bring it up, bro, and I can answer them right here, right now. But we are closing it off here in the next 10 minutes. Do I have one? I think I got it out, JD. I think, this life isn't just an opportunity, man. It's an amazing gift that we continue to build 24/7 for the future we successfully achieve. Beautiful, man. I would want to change the school system to focus less on drilling useless shit into kids' brains and focus more on finding what individual kids are good at so they can immediately work on. Yeah, maybe not in high school. In high school, I would do that. Now, the kids are just being kids, right? Learning how to finger paint and shit. But I think in high school they should teach a mandatory finance class for doing taxes, getting a job, how to apply for a driver's license, how to file taxes, how to do world chat, how to learning about credit cards and interest rates and goal-driven stuff. You know what I mean? And obviously more. Some schools don't offer carpentry, welding, auto shop. Some schools, not all schools offer those programs. And yeah, absolutely, Phoenix. That's good, Phoenix. That's good. I like that one. Oh, Stillman! Look at, he's here. He's participating. If I became president, I would make weed recreational in every state. It's gonna happen soon, bro. It's gonna happen soon. Like I said before, freedom, peace, no money, no borders, free dip, and chew for everyone. Free chew for everyone. I like that. Wicked. Stop all forms of sexual assault and domestic abuse. Yes. If I'm not doing something like this, bro, the children, the children. I would put the end of human trafficking, dude. Oh man, watching. Have you guys seen that movie? Ugh. Angel Studios, the same makers who produced the Chosen, right? The story of Jesus. It's a child trafficking movie. I don't know why it escapes my brain. I would relocate money we're sending overseas for our homeless veterans coming first for food and shelter. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, dude. That's great. That's great, JD. We only had time to play one, Denise, and that was like a 5-minute game, Denise. Let's just say it that way. Grayson, I would like to change the food we eat. Oh, yes. That's what RFK, Robert Kennedy, is going to do. That's why I want Trump to win, dude. I want RFK to freaking lead this shit. The food we eat, I'll find ways to shut down big food companies that produce garbage, processed foods like matter, and give the power back to the farmers. Grayson, I love it. I like it. All of you guys are Moabs, by the way. Logan, I will answer for you, says JD. I would make it a law that each operator of a motor vehicle in the roadway shall have the wipers on enough to remove excessive rain and no faster than needed. I don't know why I was doing the Trump thing, but that's freaking hilarious. Oh, Logie, dude, I was dying, dude. It was so random yesterday. Crispy, if I was president, I would legalize cannabis federally in every state and get it descheduled, and it'll also help our veterans get the proper aid they deserve, aka psychedelics. That'll help. Gloomish, if I was president, I'd rework the medical system to benefit the people instead of insurance companies. Great, Gloomish. Absolutely, brother. JD, I thought I was already already a law to have your lights on while the wipers are going, but I still see it not happening. But thank you for trying with the wiper speed. Yes, Grayson, the sound of freedom. Absolutely. Angel Studios, yeah. I love them. Logie, I'm not worried about the lights. I'm worried about the speed of wipers, bro. Stillman, you're married? Stillman, you've been in the live vibe since the start of it, which next month is going to be 1 year. For 11 months, I did not know that you had a wife. I'd help homeless veterans in good homes instead of seeing them suffer. It's the saddest thing ever, dude. We promise them things. We send them overseas to fight bullshit wars. They come back scarred, traumatized. And we just what? What does the VA do, man? That's where our tax dollars should be going to, not Ukraine. Stillman, you're married? What? Yeah, that's what I said. I was really gonna say change people's minds on the Second Amendment, but yeah, that I think there's more important things. But you know, yeah, no, we got to keep the 2A of Grayson. Absolutely, it's in our Constitution, dude. Honestly, I wish we out more government funds into schools for better security. Our kiddos don't need to worry about anything other than getting their homework done. Absolutely. You guys are beautiful human beings, just like Ninja always says. I love you guys, man. This was fun, dude. I like changing it up. We're gonna do a lot more of this shit, guys. We're gonna do a lot more of this shit. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you all for liking the video tonight. Thank you all for vibing. Tomorrow's AI. Tomorrow is AI Wednesday. I hope those people who are consistent kind of learn the wordage, how, you know, what you can't search, what you can search, what you could or can't search. I'm going to pick a cool theme. If you guys have any themes, drop them below. I'll take them into consideration. But last week we did creepy fish, scary fishes. Should it be a pirate theme? Anything pirate related? Should it be anything? Should it revolve a certain type of animal? Should it be? Now, I'm scoring these guys 1 to 10. Who won it last week? I think Cash Money or Grayson. One of those guys. I'm gonna grade your prompts from a scale from 1 to 10. And then the winner's gonna get a gelato free card or some shit. But kid's already dancing, dude. He's already twerking. JD, I'll rephrase what's said. They tried, but the bill didn't pass. Damn shame, Logan. It's time. Dresses to impress and walks toward the conductor's stand before grabbing a drink of ale. Our conductor. I do love a good pirate theme. I know you do. We gotta. I want to say we gotta do something cool, man. Something that's gonna be like, wow. Like, I like creepy. I like horror. I don't know. I'm gonna ask AI. AI, what theme should we do? I'm also thinking about what is something, guys, that's always behind my head. Like, we did dip night with the debates. We saw how many live vibers showed up. A title of the video is, you know, important, and I got to start putting a little bit more focus on that. Even though I just really want to let go, but You gotta think of something. I'll think of something cool. I'll meditate on it, man. Awesome, Phoenix. Hell yeah, Gloomish. Have a great night, brother. Something in cars and motorcycles? Yeah. That doesn't interest me. That doesn't interest me, though. I want something out there. Maybe aliens or something. I don't know. I do like animals. I'll figure something out, man. A cool, wild tornado. Oh, we're vibing already, dude. I'm gonna ask AI right now. Something with trucks. I'm getting NC vibes here, Thor. I don't like that, dude. Look at him dancing. T-Rex pack and dancing. Patiently waits. Oh, they're dancing already, dude. I don't want to go back to work for my boss anymore. I know he needs my help, but I need to have a job that supports me and pays my bills. My boss hasn't been able to catch me up for 3 weeks. Partly due to... Crispy, you're dancing. We got you. Spins myself under the tree. Under the treehouse, hearing the music of echoing from the treehouse. You guys, I love it, man. We did it, man. The floss with JD for the tree. You're flossing. Dude, do people even floss anymore? That was so cringe. Way back in the day. Oh, you're making a king. So I meant to do this. Gloomish, whenever you feel life crushing you beneath its expectations and condemnations, the remedy is in perspective. For a problem may appear as a pebble or a boulder, depending on where you stand. Woo! Love it, Gloomish. Grayson, thank you for your beautiful conducting skills, brother. Marvelous as always, dude. If you're asking your kids to exercise, then you better do it too. Practice what you preach. Caitlyn Jenner. Oh, I love Caitlyn Jenner. It's true. Lead by example, guys. You can't tell your kids, hey, you shouldn't be eating that snack, it's garbage, and then you just eat it with them. Lead by example. But I'm not telling you how to parent your kids. That's all you. That's all you. Raises the gin for a toast to elegant conductor and fellow live-abbers for a sophisticated jive on the dance floor. Absolutely crispy. And with that, ladies and gents, Live Vibe 221 has come to a close. Funniest superhero. But it's gonna have to depend on... It's gonna have to depend on the image, though. Not the prompt. The image is where it lies, JD. The image is where it lies. But we can vibe with some superheroes. I think that'll be funny. I think... Alright, JD. Alright, JD. Superheroes. Funny superheroes. I like that. The debate was a dumpster fire on both sides. Take care, y'all. Grabs back lanterns and grabs our faithful and disappears into the woods. Take it easy, Grayson. Good enough is the enemy of excellence. Who wants to be average, bro? JD, it's the death pool. Don't settle for mediocrity. Live vibers don't settle for mediocrity. Live vibers don't settle for mediocrity. We settle for much, much freaking more, dude. You guys are awesome, man. Great things come to those who believe in themselves. Gotta believe it. If they take it too far, they want me to call that thing in the road a person. And with that, you all have a wonderful night. We would like to thank each one of you for making the show special. Remember to stay hydrated, and we will see you tomorrow. I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you tomorrow.